Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot with Mel Rose. This post is the Tarot portion, the second half of my daily astrology read, which you can find on my other channel called Astrology Today with Mel Rose. The idea here is to provide some further insight into the current vibes based on the day's astrological aspects. First, I'll discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll do another quick rundown of today's astrology before throwing a random card that speaks to the day's energies. So let's get into it. The tarot card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Nine of Swords, and this really represents astrologically the second 10 days of the sun's transit through Gemini. So Gemini is an air sign. The swords in tarot are air, and air element talks about our thoughts, plans, and communications, specifically in tarot, especially how we use our thoughts, plans, and communications. And the Nine of Swords here represents a time of pretty deep stress and anxiety where our thoughts, plans, and communications are obviously paining us, perhaps keeping us awake at night, causing some disruption in our regular routine. So it's a sign of anxiety. It's a sign of a time when one might feel hopeless. One might even be having nightmares or bad dreams, losing sleep. And the indication here is that we're sort of trapped in this loop of negative thinking. So maybe something terrible happened, and don't compare your terrible to somebody else's terrible, okay? Something that is terrible to one of us has happened, and it has to do with how we have either used our thoughts, plans, and words, or how others have used their thoughts, plans, and words, and it's paining us. And I see, in the picture, this person is sort of sitting up on their bed, and the knives, the swords appear to be sort of hung up on the wall, but you see those bottom three swords actually appear to make contact with that person's body. And it's just this idea that there's these thoughts, plans, and communications that have really intersected in a painful way with our heads, with perhaps like our throat chakra and our heart chakra there, right? So that's a really painful situation to be when we can't sort of lift ourselves out of the rumination, the dwelling on the way somebody has used their thoughts, words, and plans, and sometimes, we start thinking about those negative things, and a negative thought piles on a negative thought, piles on a negative thought, and then you're sort of trapped in a loop or sort of wrapped up around something and unable to untangle your mind from it, or you feel as though you're unable to untangle your mind from it. My first set of guidance would be if you are being kept awake at night by this anxiety, by this rumination, by this dwelling on something that, really, especially in the middle of the night, you can't do anything about. But often when we're feeling that anxiety and rumination, it's because we don't think that there's anything we can do about a situation. Sometimes there really isn't. But especially in the middle of the night, when you're supposed to be sleeping, there's not much that we can do to help our situation. So we have to revert to taking care of our bodies, okay? Get the activity you need. If you are too restless in bed, go for a walk, or if you are just too restless in your heart and mind, find something else to focus your heart and mind on until you can get back to a point of not being so much ruminating and dwelling on the thing that is paining you, so that you can get some rest, right? Get back to that sleepy feeling where you think you can let go for the evening. So that's the Nine of Swords, and if you are in this anxious predicament, my heart goes out to you. I have been there. I feel it. I understand. And this is really a signal to take care of yourself and to understand that trying to overanalyze a situation that feels helpless often just leads one to feel more helpless, right? And to have more of this distressing sort of distracting way of being. And when we're distracted, when we're not getting sleep, or when we're just overly anxious about something, and can't stop thinking about this negative stuff that's going on for us, we cannot function and do the things that we're supposed to do in our normal, regular, everyday adult lives. Okay, so it's important to remember to take care of yourself first. And with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Gemini right now. And so in the outer life especially, we are seeking new learning. We are seeking fresh ideas. We want all of the information. We're gathering in a lot of data. We're sort of mixing it up with our own brains, and then we're sharing it with other people. There's a lot of collaboration at this time. There's a lot of cooperation, a lot of meeting of the minds. Okay, Gemini is about the twins. So sometimes we can be of two minds about something, or sometimes we can feel kind of conflicted, like I don't know which way to go with this choice or decision that I'm trying to make. And that just indicates, Sun and Gemini, that we want more information. We need to find out more so that we can make the choices the best way that we know how, and to collaborate with others the best way we know how too. This is a very mentally stimulated and mentally creative time. So, in relation to that Nine of Swords there, perhaps it is time to get creative with how we use our brains so that we can either leave behind the dwelling on the situation that we can't help, or find a positive solution for ourselves, whatever that might be. The moon is a waxing crescent in Cancer, starting out in Cancer and moving to Leo this afternoon. So it's about half and half today between Cancer and Leo. Waxing crescent is a time of increase when we are really focusing on our plans, our intentions, the goals that we are setting. It's a very Gemini vibe. We are thinking about how we want to get things done. We are laying out the plan. We are making the choices in advance of the work so that, we sort of have our best idea in mind about how things are going to go before we go and do them. So Moon in Cancer, that's a time of nurturing ourselves and others. It's a very watery, fixed water time. So, nourish yourself with good food, clean, bathe, do things with water. That's a very good time to work on healing ourselves. And also with the moon in that waxing crescent phase where we're working on our plans, it might help us to, form some intuitive, creative, or emotional attachment to the intentions and goals we're trying to set. And it's good to have that attachment. It's really good to be emotionally and creatively invested in what you're trying to create, right? And then that waxing crescent in Leo, Leo represents the sunshine. The sun rules Leo, okay? So it's really just about shining our light for the world to see, and not just so that we can be appreciated, but also so that, we can help others grow, so that we can reveal things. When the sun comes out, all things under the sun are revealed. So something might come up as we switch from Cancer to Leo, from this sort of really internal vibe to internal or in the water, under the emotions vibe, to the more sunshine, fiery, spirited, driven vibe there. Something might be revealed in terms of what our plans are really about, or what our goals and aspirations are revealing to ourselves about ourselves. So that's positive, I think. And then on the moon side today, we have some pretty positive vibes. We do have this moon opposition Pluto in the middle that might bring about some moodiness, might bring about some sort of mood swings. Man, I wish I could remember who sang that song, but anyway, moon in opposition to Pluto, that can be a time when we're feeling really happy one moment and then really not happy the next. And so if you're the kind of person who is susceptible to those kind of swings and you don't feel like you can be very good company, perhaps it's a good time to stick it out by yourself for a while. You do have that 3-hour void, of course, to sort of reflect on why that is coming up. And, and then after that, the moon goes into Leo. So hopefully we'll come to a point where we can share the light of our love with the world. Otherwise, we've got this nice moon trine Neptune, where you're almost spiritually protected in your ability to trust what your sense of connection to the rest of the world or to the people around you is telling you. The moon sextile Mercury, moon, our feeling life is in a cooperative vibe with our newly direct Mercury, which is our thoughts, plans, and communications. But this is a time to not get too serious, and sometimes when we don't get too serious with our thoughts, plans, and communications, then we have a little room for good ideas to come in, fresh ideas to come in. So, sort of creative conversations, idle talk, even gossip might help us help bring up for us, help reveal for us some part of our plan that we weren't aware of before. And then this evening, another trine aspect, moon trine Jupiter, gives us, makes us very good company, makes us expansive and generous. It brings sort of good fortune to the heart and the home, especially with that trine. It's not just good fortune, it's like spiritual protection as well, and balance in our hearts and minds as we make good company, and we can really open up and share of ourselves, about ourselves with a loved one, and that can help to sort of create a stronger bond between you and that person you open up to. On the sun side of the page, Mercury went direct 2 o'clock this morning, so yay, yippee, we got through it. The next Mercury retrograde comes in September and will be another 3 weeks. That will be the last one of the year, friends. So we are more than halfway through the Mercury retrogrades for the year. Mercury is direct. And also, though, today, and this is a little obscure, but Mercury goes conjunct with this star out there that's called Algol. It's a fixed star. It moves with the rest of the firmament, right? With the rest of the signs, they're always in the same place. And then Algol represents the sort of severing of a head. So don't lose your head. Say only what you mean. Try to be careful that you don't speak in an uncareful way that damages your somebody else's perception of you. And also be careful, not to lose your head if somebody else says something that damages your estimation of them, okay? Sun sextile Mars, just here through tomorrow, we've had this really ongoing golden opportunity to act on our dreams and aspirations. The sun is just like really focused on what it is that we have to do. And both of these planets had aspects with Jupiter, which is our planet for expansion and growth. And, so hopefully we've been focused on what our bigger plan for ourselves is, what our expansion, our growth will look like, and taking action, making the physical steps toward that. And then Mercury, retrograde no more. Pluto still retrograde through October 8th. Okay, so that's just transformations happening, and they are a culturally wide, but they're happening on the inside right now, so they feel really personal. And understand that the transformation that you're experiencing within is not the same as the transformation that the next person is experiencing. Those I want to say experiences are ones that only you can have and only you can think about and express. Okay, so when I say everybody is going through changes, I don't mean everybody's going through the same changes, right? You're still having experiences only you can have, and you're going through a transformation that only you can be going through at this time. Mercury trine Pluto at this time, though, really what comes up is coming out, especially now that Mercury is direct. Before, when Mercury was in retrograde, we could, use the information that was coming up to sort of analyze our own behaviors, our own thoughts and intuitions. But now we can actually express them. We can talk about them. We can even make plans about how we're going to deal with those problems as they come up for us. And I say problems because usually when Pluto gets expressed, through our thoughts and words, or when Pluto gets expressed, even in our actions, it's often something that's coming from the shadow. It's also often something that's coming out of our sense of fear or insecurity about something, and everybody has fears and insecurities. So, we've been able to see that stuff as it's coming up, and now we're able to express it. We're able to make plans regarding how we're going to deal with it in the future. or in the now for that matter, as we're going through these transformations. And with all of that said, I'm going to turn this card. Oh, we got the Six of Cups today, friends. So, first of all, this takes me over here to Moon trine Jupiter, Moon sextile Mercury, Moon trine Neptune, right? Especially Moon trine Jupiter. Six of Cups is a card kind of about remembrance, right? Of remembering the good old days, of sort of looking back to when we were younger, sometimes like all the way to our childhood, but also just sort of, the older you get, the longer your childhood seems to have been, right? So here at nearly 50, I can look back to 20 and I think, oh, those were the good old days, right? So this is a time of looking back and remembering the sweet things that have happened, the friends that we had, the friends that we made, the people that we shared our time and our activities and our imagination, our creativity, made all of our plans with, and did all our day-to-day running around with, right? So this is a card that's about remembrance and about reflecting. And I see the two people here, and I'm thinking about the sun in Gemini. Yellow here is a very airy color from my perspective. And, all kinds of different flowers here, all kinds of different positive memories that we have to look back on, in these cups, which are, our cups are about our feelings, and they're about our creativity. They're also about our intuitive resource. So, this is a good time, especially with Mercury having gone direct. And, if you're thinking about somebody from your past and the good times you had with them, it might not be a bad time, it might not be a bad day just to reach out to them, see how they're doing, give them a little bit of your time and attention and appreciation for the positivity that they've brought into your life, that you still have, that you can still reach. And also, taken together with the Nine of Swords here, when we struggle with anxiety, when we struggle with ruminating on something that we can't seem to let go of, when our brains will not unlatch from that terrible thing that we're thinking about, and all of the reasons we have to be upset, and all of the things that we feel powerless to affect, that can be a really painful situation to be in. And the guidance is always, don't try to go through that alone, because the longer you try to go through that alone, it's sort of like the more tightly wound we become around the thing that is hurting us, especially mentally. And that's a mental health challenge in its own right, because the longer you dwell there, the kind of harder it is to dig yourself out, right? So again, there's this message here saying reach out to a friend, right? For one thing, if it's somebody that has hurt you, that you were pretty attached to, or that you felt a connection to, if it's somebody who has used their thoughts, plans, and words, or perhaps you had a falling out with somebody, and now you feel completely distressed and you're losing sleep over that falling out, it can really help to remember who what person was for you before the falling out, right? Remember the friendship, remember the good times. Think about that person when you thought of them as somebody who had the best possible intentions, and who had your best experience at heart, and who shared themselves with you in a really open way, okay? So it can help to reflect on that, to stop demonizing the person or thing that is causing you this mental anguish. Also, this is another message that says, you can call a friend. So don't deal with your anxiety on your own, especially if you find yourself really getting wrapped up and wound tight, and not really able to take care of your responsibilities, not able to stick to your routine, right? Mercury is direct right now. We're trying to get right back into our regular thoughts, plans, communications, running around routine. And if your anxiety about a situation, if you're upset about a situation, is really getting in the way of your ability to move forward, talk to somebody, reach out to a friend, talk to somebody that you know you can trust, open up, share with them. Okay, you've got this real blessing of protection right now with that trine energy, saying, that if you open up, you might find a way to relieve that anxiety, that mental anguish that you're dealing with. And I believe that's all I have to say about it. No, so Pluto retrograde also, again, those transformations that are happening on the inside, they're going to involve our fond memories and our less fond memories as well, right? So this also makes me think of this sort of mood swing thing. The moon is in an opposition to Pluto retrograde at some point today, and that's our feelings, that's our feeling self, and we're feeling kind of conflicted about what's coming up from the subconscious, right? What it is that is bothering us the most is really going to maybe have us swinging back and forth between this like fond reverie and this just deep anguish. So, that mood swing is sort of written there. But again, I think, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself about the relationships that you've had. Be kind to yourself about the things that you've engaged in, with a sense of innocence and a pureness of spirit that you that you had a friendship, or that you were in a great situation that you felt very good about and good things were coming of it. And so now perhaps it's not quite the same. Now things have sort of fallen apart, and there's that mental anguish, that anxiety coming in. Again, I just want to say it's okay to reflect on the good times and to, to use that as a facility, a utility, to not spend all of our time demonizing the person or situation that at one time was a good thing and is now not such a good thing. And again, open up to a friend. Share when you are really struggling, especially with anxiety or depression, mental health issues that come up for us all from time to time, okay? Open up to somebody that you know and that you can trust, so that they can help you bear the burden and find your way back to feeling good about how things are going for yourself. I believe that's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Melrose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot with Melrose.